Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct from the Studio R here in Colombo. For the news system, I'm Azra San. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Azra. Very good evening to all our viewers. Well, I'm Joel Outsgood. We got an interesting lineup of stories for you tonight. But first, let's take a look at our headlines.
Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga attends the Api Sri Lanka convention along with the organisation to protect the SLFP. Sajjan Diwas Gunawardena releases audio recording and claims he was threatened. Mahinda Rajapaksa says Sajith Premadas's manifesto is contradictory and that there are attempts to create a federal system. Sajith responds to Mahinda saying he will commit to build a unitary Sri Lanka without any hidden deals. Government refutes allegations made by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka with regard to the MCC Compact.
අපේ කිසිම MCC කිව්සුමක් සංකරණ බලාපොරොත්තුවක් අද දවසේ නැහැ. MCC කිව්සුම දැන් ජනතාවට විවෘතයි. මොකවත් හංගලා නැහැ.
On to our lead story now. The Api Sri Lanka convention was held at the Sugata Dasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo this afternoon. Now, the event was held under the auspices of former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga.
Several senior members, including UPFA MP Kumara Velgama, attended the convention. A gathering including electoral organisers and district organisers who opposed the decision made to support Gotabaya Rajapaksa's candidacy also attended the event. What's the decision we are going to make at this point of time? Instead of thinking about the people involved, we must decide based on the policy presented and who can implement these policies as promised. There are two main candidates today. Presidential candidates of the New Democratic Front and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna have presented their manifestos. I read them carefully. In the manifestos and the speeches, Gotabaya Rajapaksa uses beautiful words. He uses a series of nice words. He promises freedom. I laughed. The most expensive roads in the world were built in this country under the Rajapaksa regime. I'd like to ask presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa about journalists Lasantha Wickrematunge, Prageeth Ekneligoda and Keith Noyer. I saw the plan of the other presidential candidate. He has a very successful plan to implement.
I'd like
to say that it was us who safeguarded the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Those who switched parties only have come forward to protect the SLFP. We will continue this journey despite the challenges we face now and in the future. I can assure you that they will never hold disciplinary inquiries. They can't do that because there are so many leaders who should be inquired first. So don't be afraid. This is our last chance. I am a good SLFPer. My personal vote will not be given to the SLFP. I can say it without any fear. We have to make a wise decision if we want to safeguard our party. I tell Darcy Jayasekara, if we get the real answer in this election, you will be the first person to be chased out of the party.
Former parliamentarian Sajjan Diwas Gunawardena revealed of a death threat he received at a media briefing held in Kotte today.
A friend of mine from SLPP had called my wife and had asked as to what am I doing and to be careful. He had continuously stressed to be protective of my children and to think about their future. I did not mind this and I allowed this to continue. After some time, I convened a news conference in Ambalangoda and I expressed my views about the SLFP and the future of the SLPP. I expressed my views as my democratic right to do so. Then the same MP once again had called my wife and told her that Mahinda Rajapaksa had said that he would murder me and to keep my children safe and sound. As soon after that phone call, I called that MP from my phone. I recorded this conversation. This is the recording. It was said that I would be murdered and to protect my children. I released this after much thought. I was in their faction for 17 years. I was one of their henchmen for 17 years. For some fortunate reason, now I am free from them and I engage in my politics with liberty. This is the truth. I will let all of you listen to this.
මෙන්න මේක තමයි සත්‍ය. මම මේක තමුන්නාන්සලට සියලු දෙනාටම දෙනවා. මේක අහලා බලන්න. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Gurmadana.
මොකද මේ ඔයා ටියානට කියලා තියන්නේ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ඕඩර් එකක් දුන්නා කියලා මාව මරන්න. මොකද්ද උනේ? How That's obviously no. ඉතින් මට කරපු දේවල් වලට පුනේ නෑනේ මෙච්චර කාලෙ.
මටක් නෑනේ සතින් මොනවද කරන්නේ what are you trying to gain
එයා ඉතින්
what are you trying to gain
එයා යෝසිතට කියයි මාව මරන්න කියලා. අර සද්දුදීන්ට කරා වගේ ඉතින් එච්චරයි ඉතින්.
what are you trying to gain by this
ඒවට බය නෑනේ මම ලොහන්. මම
නෑ නෑ බය නෑ ඔයාට පොඩි ළමයි දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවනේ ඒක බය නෑ උඩ
ළමයි දෙන්නව ඇවිල්ලා අත තියන්නකෝ කියන්න බලන්න එයාට.
why are you doing why හැබැයි ඉතින් මේ ඔයාලා මේ කරන්නේ කොහොමද කරන්නේ
නෑ මෝඩ වැඩක් නෙමෙයි මම මේ කරන්නේ එයා තාමත්
you be the smarter one you don't have to get into
that is why I am being the smarter one Lohan right
yeah
that is why I am being the smarter one හරි මොකද එයා මට කරපු
but this is not being smart this is being like you're like being very childish
no දැන් මට කොච්චර
what I saw in what you said was like a stupid child who got angry because you didn't get some makeup
නෑ අයි ලොහන් මම එයාගෙන් කිසිම දෙයක් එක්ස්පෙක්ට් කරන්නේ නෑනේ මම එයාගෙන් කිසිම දෙයක්
අයි මේව කරන්නේ
හරි එහෙමනේ එයාගේ පුතාව රජ කරලා මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ හරි හැබැයි අපිට නිකන් ඉන්න කියන්න එයාට මහින්ද
you understand that don't you understand that
I do understand that and I appreciate that a lot හැබැයි මම කියන්නේ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂට ඕනනම් මාව හරි මගේ ළමයින්ව හරි මරන්න කියලා මරලා බලන්න කියන්නකෝ මම
ඒ ඕන නෑනේ අය මොකක් හරි පොඩි සිද්ධියක් හරි වුණොත් අන්නේතරේ
ඒ සිද්ධියක් වුණොත් මමත් නිකන් ඉන්නේ නෑනේ රොහන් අපිත් අපේ ඇඟේ තියෙන එකම ලේනේ මම නිකන් ඉන්නේ මම එහාගේ පරම්පරාවම ඉවර කරලා මං නවත්තන්නේ මම ඒක ඩිසයිඩ් කරලා තිනවා එයාගේ මල ගෙදරවත් මම එන්නේ නැහැ කියලා ජීවිතේට එයාට අවුරුදු 20කට මං කරපු දේවල් ඔහන ඔයා දන්නවනේ
මම දන්නවා
ඉතින් මේ දැන් ඒගොල්ලන් A to Z කරපු ඒවා ගාමිණිලත් එක්ක කරපු ඒවා ඔය හැමෝමත් එක්කම කොහෙද සල්ලි තියෙන්නේ මේ ඔක්කොම මම දන්නවා මම එක වචනයක් කතා කරලා තියනවද මේක කළා ඉතින් කමක් නැහැ මම
I talk to you on a personal level I don't care about politics or whatever I heard I told you
හැබැයි ඔයා මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාට කියන්න මම කිව්වා කියලා එයාගේ එක ත්‍රෙට් එකකටවත් මම බය වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා මගේ ළමයින්ගේ හරි මගේ පවුලගේ හරි මගේ හරි එක ඇඟිල්ලක් එක කොණ්ඩයක් එහාට මෙහාට කරලා තිබුණොත් එයාගේ පවුලම නැති කරනවා මං කියලා. ඒක එයාට කියන්න. හරි මේ සදින් වාස් ගුණවර්ධන එහෙම මිනිහෙක් එයාත් දන්නවා මමත් දන්නවා. හරි ඒක විතරක් නෙමෙයි එයාගේ සියලුම එකේ ඉඳන් ඉවර වෙනකම්ම මං කියනවා. ඒක මතකතුව කියන්න. මොකද මම එයාට කිසිම වරද්දක් කළා නැහැ. මං එයාට එක අබමල් රේණුවක වරද්දක් කළා නැහැ. හරි ඉතින් මේවා අපිට දරාගෙන ඉන්න බැහැනේ නෝන් නිකන් ඔයා හොයලා බලන්නකෝ
I hope so
no but anyway I have no interest with them no Lohan
I know
I have absolutely මට හෙට වැඳලා ආවිලා කිව්වත් එන්න කියලා මම යන්නේ නැහැනේ මම ඒක තීරණය කළා ඉවරයි I told you that no
yeah that won't happen either no we both know that
yeah ඒක තමයි so that won't happen so there is no point so I have to do my politics and he can do his politics why is he getting so worked up
I don't know.
I didn't
go to ask either.
I didn't say anything personal. Why is he getting ඇයි මෙච්චර කලබල වෙන්නේ? මං කිසිම දෙයක් එයාට කිව්වේ නෑ මේවා මම මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂට කියලා බැන්නේ නෑ. මං නාමල් රාජපක්ෂට කියලා බැන්නේ නෑ. මම දේශපාලන ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් කතා කරේ. එතකොට මට මගේ දේශපාලනයක් කරන්න අයිතියක් නැද්ද මේ රටේ?
අයිතියක් තියෙනවා.
ඉතින් එහෙනම් මොකක්ද මෙතන?
This is my personal thing with you, no? Just watch your back, that's it.
I'll watch my back, no problem. But මේ ටිකක් කියන්න යාත්.
මං ගිහිල්ලා පොලිස්පතිතුමාගේ
I filed a complaint at the IGP's office. I wrote a letter to Mahinda Rajapaksa on the 23rd of October. It says, Honorable former President, in line with the defeat at the presidential election in 2015, you committed many injustices against me. Due to this, my heart is pierced because you attempted to sacrifice me to rescue your generation. Few of those attempts include the Supreme Court not granting me bail when I was in prison in 2015. Due to this, I was nearly imprisoned for 7 months. Something that cannot be forgotten so easily here is that the effort of a high official from the Attorney General's department and a secretary to the former president to hold me behind bars for a long time as per the request of the former president. Number 2 is rejecting the petition to amend my bail order based on the connection of a former frontline minister. Number 3 would be, while doing all the aforementioned, not giving me the nomination to contest the 2015 presidential election. I have proof of all the aforementioned acts. Parallel to the proof that I have of these, I thoroughly believe that the former president also has a conscience. I hereby plead him not to use my children to seek revenge from me, because I will not bow down nor put a stop to my journey against death threats. You can resolve all issues by staying true to your conscience. I wrote this with my conscience. So dear friends, this is the truth.
සාක්ෂියට අවංකව වීමෙන් සියලු ගැටලු निराකරණය කරගත හැකිය.
MP Susil Premajayantha responded to the allegations raised by Sajin Divas-Gunawardena this evening.
කියන්නේ පසුගිය මහමැතිවරණයේදී
Sajin Divas was someone we didn't give nominations to. There are cases against him in courts. Statements made by Sajin is not accepted by the people of this country. He is the one who slapped our former British High Commissioner, who is on the UNP stage now. They are the ones who didn't receive nomination during the previous election. Sajin Divas is also one of them.
ගණන් ගන්න එපා කවුද ගණන් ගන්නේ සජිත් වහන්සේ. එතුමාව ඝාතනය කරන්න.
Does anyone want to murder him? Nobody wants to murder him. If those cases in courts are heard, nobody will have to murder him. He will be punished accordingly.
කරන්න ඕනේ ඒකට දඬුවම් ලැබෙයි. හඬපට නිර්මාණය කරන්න පුළුවන් ඕන තරම්. ඒකට සුප්‍රසිද්ධ මංගල සමරන මැතිතුමා එතුමාගේ ගෝල බාලයෝ එතන ඉන්නවා.
Well, now here are some of the views expressed with regard to the convention held today.
King Sirisangabo voluntarily sacrificed his head in the 3rd century in Attanagalla. In the 21st century, Madam Chandrika is forcefully sacrificing the head of Sri Lanka Freedom Party in Attanagalla.
බලහත්කාරයෙන් දන් දෙන්නේ චන්ද්‍රිකා මැතිණිය. ගරු මැතිණියනි ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ ඉතිහාසයට සෝමාරාමල දෙන්නෙක් බර වැඩි. ඔබතුමිය පීඨ ගන්නා වූ ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස්
If the party-named organization to protect the SLFP is registered, I suggest you use the symbol of a gun.
කරනවා ඒ සඳහා සුදුසු ලකුණක් සෝමාරාමගේ පිස්තෝලය යොදා ගන්න. ඒක තමයි ගැලපෙන.
That is the most suitable symbol. If you are planning to sell the SLFP to the UNP, that will be the most suitable symbol.
ගැලපෙන ලකුණ.
මේ කණ්ඩායම විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ
Like in 2015, the organizers who joined the SLFP are unfortunately very weak. 99% of them have been removed from the party. 99 of those who attended the convention today are from the UNP. If anyone holding a position attended the convention, he has violated the discipline of the party. The Central Working Committee will do the needful today.
Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, promised to implement the International Charter on the Disabled in Hasalaka today.
විශ්වයපුරා විහිදී ගියා බුදු ජන ජයරාවේ අපි වෙනුවෙන් අපි අතරම නැගෙන බලාපොරොත්තුව මේ ජනහද දිනු
The public rally, which was held in the town of Hasalaka, was organized by the organizer of the Udumbara electorate.
කොටාබය නාමේ වැඩ කරන අපේ විරුවා බෞද්ධිමට පෙමින් සවදා රට රකින්න කෙනෙක් බේරම් ඒ ඔබයි උතුම් මිනිසා වැඩ කරන අපේ විරුවා බෞද්ධිමට පෙමින් සවදා රට රකින්න කෙනෙක් බේරම් ඒ ඔබයි උතුම් මිනිසා.
Leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Mahinda Rajapaksa, also attended the rally.
Ismitalesin iskamava elay abhimane penda demin mululobadina apahayana gamane lowananda sinnavat mase badaka hamavele innanavati maubima ape rakadena viruwane.
There are many individuals with special needs living in the urban and rural areas. When I initiated development in the cities, it was I who first introduced a system where those with special needs could walk along the pavement. We will implement the International Charter in Sri Lanka as a government. In our manifesto, we will also uplift the artists involved in our ancient traditions. We have plans for those type of important things in the country.
මේ වගේ විශාල අපේ රටට වැදගත් වෙන සැලසුම් තමයි අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනය තුල තියෙන්නේ.
Subsequently, leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Mahinda Rajapaksa, addressed the gathering.
තමුන්නාන්සලා දන්නවද සජිත්
When you look at the manifestos, the Sinhalese version says unitary, but the Tamil and English versions speak of a federal system. In the recent past, Ranil Wickremesinghe rejected claims of his involvement in the drafting of the constitution that speaks of a federal system and fooled everyone. He included the report that was compiled in Parliament, and Sumandiran's statement was presented in English and Tamil. That's why the North Province Chief Minister has made a statement saying he can't accept Sajid Premadasa's double standard way of doing things. The Sinhalese community is being fooled from one end and the Tamil community is being fooled from another end. They are hiding it from the Sinhalese community while something entirely different is written in Tamil. You can't deceive people and obtain votes. It is a crime.
එම ඡන්ද ගන්නෝ නම් ඒක මහා අපරාධයක්. ඒකින්ද සහෝදරවරුනි සහෝදරියනි අපි ජනතාව රවට්ටලා බොරු කියලා බොරු පොරොන්දු දීලා හංගලා ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් එකක් සිංහලෙන් එකක් කියවලා ඇවිල්ලා පපුවට ගහගෙන.
Now, during a public rally in Talautoe today, presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajid Premadasa, responded to the allegations made by leader of the SLPP, Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The former president had made a statement today, and I must provide a response to this. As the future president, my responsibility is to create a unitary Sri Lanka with maximum power devolution. The former president is trying to place the federal crown on me. I would like to say this to Mahinda Rajapaksa. Do you remember how you and GL Piris went overseas and promised the 13+? 13+ means federal. He is the federal culprit. Sajid Premadasa has no federal system. I will never implement a federal system in this country. The only system we use is a unitary Sri Lanka. There is nothing wrong with the term united. United does not mean federal. It is he who wants this united to be changed to a federal system. We are all aware. The former president has a fixation for a federal system. When he goes overseas, he speaks about the 13+. When he comes to Sri Lanka, he calls it 13-. So the people of this country know who's playing this double game. I have no illegal businesses or dealings. I urge the former president, do not try to link me to false news reports. I am a leader who will ensure Sri Lanka will be a unitary state.
අකුරට තිතට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන පුද්ගලෙක් බව මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න කැමතියි.
එකරමුණකින් මේ මිහිතලයේ රටම එකට එක්වනාද දිනයේ සිව්සිය දහසින් හදවත් බැඳුනා එක්ව ඉදිරියට යන මඟ හැදුනා එක්ව ඉදිරියට යන මඟ හැදුනා.
During the event, a group of provincial politicians of the SLFP pledged their support to the New Democratic Front. I have presented a manifesto that will improve everyone, including the tuk drivers, the businessmen, women and the war heroes. I urge everyone to read my manifesto properly. I pledge to fulfill all the promises I have made in the manifesto. Ranasinghe Premadasa's son will work hard to empower the poor. We will give priority to Buddhism in Sri Lanka and protect the Buddha Sasana. We will respect all religions and communities and create a unitary sovereign state. On the 16th of November, we will place the crown on the small man.
Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, addressed a few other rallies this morning in the Kandy district.
The rally was held in Hadaraliyadda Galagedara.
ඉස්මිතලසින් ඉස්කම්මව එලයේ අභිමානේ පෙන්වා දෙමින් මුළු ලොවදින.
Leader of the SLPP, Mahinda Rajapaksa, and presidential candidate of the SLPP, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, attended the rally.
නැන බලෙන් ලොව පරතනා මිනිස් පෞර සදනා රටදය සදාම විත කරන්නට දුර දැක්මෙන් සිතනා
වියසක නැති යුගයක් මවා නැවුම් හෙටක් ගෙනෙනා වෙනකෙකු නැති ඔබ හැරාපේ අනාගතේ සදානා
අපිව වෙනසක් ඕන කියලා
They claim we needed change and came into power. The present government has brought change indeed. There is a shortage of gas in the country. See what has happened to our agriculture sector. Does our paddy and spice have a stable price? Food prices have increased. During our regime, the price of salt was only 20 rupees, but today it is 100 rupees. Salt is obtained from the sea. So how can price of salt increase? This was the inflated budget that was prepared by Ranil Wickremesinghe and Sajith Premadasa. It's not just the budget. They even increased VAT. They increased VAT rates and pickpocketed the general public. However, when they claim that they were compelled to increase VAT rates because of us, they speak as if we are part of the ruling party and they are in the opposition. Dengue has raised its head again due to improper waste disposal. There is advanced technology to make garbage disposal more efficient. We will provide funds to every Pradesh Sabha to invest in garbage disposal services. We must protect the environment and prevent the spread of diseases. Women are the main focus point in our manifesto. During my campaign trial, I met women from every province. What do they say? They first ask for national security. Mothers are worried about their children when they go to school and when their husbands go to work. After we establish our government, we will ensure that there is no terrorism or extremism in this country.
ත්‍රස්තවාදයක් ඇති වෙන්නට ඉඩ තියන්නේ නැtei කියන එක මම තමුන්නාන්සලාට සහතික වෙනවා.
Meanwhile, presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Sajith Premadasa, attended the 100th rally held to support his presidential candidacy.
කරමුණකින් මේ මිහිතලයේ රටම එකට එක්වනාද දිනයේ සිව්සිය දහසින් හදවත් බැඳුනා එක්ව ඉදිරියට යන මඟ හැදුනා එක්ව ඉදිරියට යන මඟ හැදුනා.
Meanwhile, the 100th rally held to support presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa took place in Mahiyangane last evening. MP Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, Minister Harin Fernando and several others attended the rally.
A set of media organizations with my opponent are now creating a rumor that Sajith Premadasa has agreed to some conditions. What are these conditions? Who imposed these conditions? Even when I was about to obtain the candidacy, conditions were presented. I refused to accept them. I will not sell neither my country nor the nationality. I will not sell my religion. These media organizations are trying very hard to appoint who they want, to release those in remand custody. That's their secret. I wasn't going to mention this, but circumstances are such I had to say these things. They sling mud at Sajith Premadasa to release those in jail. Sling mud as much as you want. You can assassinate my character. I have the strength to endure whatever that comes my way. If anyone is extending their support to me, they are doing it willingly. I did not beg from anyone to support me. I didn't promise to give this and that just to get their support. They can't criticize me, because Sajith Premadasa fulfilled his responsibility towards a sovereign and a unitary Sri Lanka.
ඒ ප්‍රතිපත්ති අකුරටම අනුගමනය කරන පුද්ගලෙක් සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස.
මුලින්ම මේ ඓතිහාසික මහියංගනේ නගරේ
When I visited the historic city of Mahiyangane, I received a call. I got a call from the intelligence, and that was to say that Sajith Premadasa is ahead by 10%.
සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්තයා 110කින් ඉදිරියෙන් ඉන්නවා කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ කතිකාවක් ආවා.
Former Minister Imtiaz Bakir Makir made the following remarks at a rally held in Diyasenpura to support the victory of presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa. Before Lee Kuan Yew passed away, he looked at our country and said that the reason behind the setback of Sri Lanka is racism.
They beat their chests and scream, saying that they are Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslims. When the election is around the corner, they speak of patriotism. They beg for votes. They fight amongst them. They made the Sinhalese language the official language. Then the second generation comes forward and changes it and makes Sinhalese and Tamil the official languages. This is after 20 years and after thousands have died. They are spreading hatred when the election is close. They spread mistrust. They create doubt. That is how they beg for votes. They speak of racism. But who do they have with them? Karuna Amman, who killed monks in Arantalava, and Pillayan, who killed our people. Those people are now good for them. If we join a political party that works for democracy, we become traitors. What is this deception? What is this myth that they are trying to spread? We must understand this. We cannot lift our heads if we do not reduce the problems that we have. Sajid has come forward for unity. He has come forward for our nation. He speaks to bring all races together. You all remember how our war heroes were sent to clean drains and sweep roads. When the princes were racing opposite the temple of the sacred tooth relic, they were assigned to pull sandbags. They did not stop from there. They sold the headquarters and the main center of the war heroes to the Shangri-La Hotel. Are they patriots? Is this what you call patriotism? Our way, heroes don't speak against this. Not because they were in favor, but because they were afraid of Gotabaya.
Presidential candidate of the National People's Power Movement attended a public meeting in Rikilagaskada in this morning.
If you consider all criteria, our country is poor. They have made this a poor country with a massive debt burden. The country is poor, but what about the rulers? The rulers are rich. This economy can't even repay the loans. No matter how long it takes, the woodpecker will continue to build a nest in this manner. No matter how long it takes, the UNP will also govern the country in the same manner. It will not change. Even for another long period of time, the Rajapaksas will govern the country in the same manner. Why? What change are we looking for? How many expectations did you have? Did you not vote again thinking they will be better? Did you not vote for Mahinda again thinking he will be better next time? For how long did you wait to see these leaders change? It is very clear that they will not change. If the leaders are not going to change, it is time for the people to change. Because what do the leaders do? They market poverty. What are they doing now? When they meet the farming community, they promise to provide fertilizer because they think these people are poor. Didn't they do that? Didn't they come forward and say, he only promised for paddy, but I'll give fertilizer for everything? Poverty. When they see children, they say, give me power, I will give you a glass of milk. When they see pregnant mothers, they question if they are poor and ask for power to give them a bag of nutrition. They promise to give fishermen oil because of poverty. That is the type of leaders that we have. We invite you to create a country under a leadership that will eradicate poverty instead of marketing it.
අපි රටක් හදමු දුප්පත්කම විකුණනව වෙනුවට දුප්පත්කම තුරන් කරන පාලනය.
Center for Monitoring Election Violence spoke about the expenses incurred by presidential candidates for their election campaigns.
Today we will reveal how much the candidates have spent on television and print media. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna has spent 42 million rupees for print media. They have spent 456 million rupees on digital media as well. As other expenses, especially when it comes to organizing meetings, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna has spent about 76 million rupees. The total expenditure incurred by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna until today is 574 million rupees. The New Democratic Front has spent 68 million rupees on print media. They have spent 219 million rupees on digital media. Exceeding the SLPP, the NDF has spent about 85 million rupees for such things such as organizing meetings and other miscellaneous activities. In total, the NDF has incurred an expenditure of 372 million rupees. The National People's Power Movement has spent about $1 million rupees for print media during the past 14 days. They have spent 4 million rupees on digital media. They have spent about 11 million rupees for other activities like organizing meetings. General Mahesh Senanayake and Dr. Ajanta Pereira have spent less than 3 million rupees for their entire election campaign. we have to always question about the revenue earned and the expenditure incurred. Sri Lanka has not set regulations, so Sri Lankans will always wonder if those who sponsor the money are from which category. They can be from the field of drugs and the underworld.
වෙනත් සමාජ කුලකයක්ද යන්න පිළිබඳව එය සදාකාලික අභිරහසක් ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය සමාජයේ.
The 2019 Commonwealth Law Ministers meeting began in Colombo yesterday. Now, the meeting was hosted by the Ministry of Justice.
The meeting was held under the topic Equal Access to Justice and the Rule of Law. The event was attended by several foreign and local distinguished guests, including the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya, Attorney General Dappala de Oliveira, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, and several excellencies from High Commissions. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe delivered the keynote address at the event.
Law ministers are all politicians, like all of us. You are politicians, but at the same time, you are a vital cog in the two main institutions, the relationship between the two main institutions which are common to all our countries and with the bedrock of democracy and the rule of law. That is the judiciary and the parliament. You represent your politician in parliament with the legal machinery of the state which is under you. Also at the same time, looking at the delicate relationship between the executive and the judiciary and parliament and judiciary. It is not an enviable job. The relationship between the Supreme Court and the legislature has been the one which was successful when they were interdependent.
The Commonwealth Law Ministers meeting is a focus for so much in the way of mutual support and collaborative action to help all our member nations deliver on the values and the principles of our Commonwealth Charter and towards achieving all of the sustainable Commonwealth goals. It is important to be alert on what justice or access to justice may mean to different people.
According to a research conducted by the World Justice Project 2019, more than 4 billion people have unmet justice needs globally or live outside the protection of the law, mostly because they are poor or marginalized within their societies. They can be easily cheated by employers, driven from their land, preyed upon by the powerful and intimidated by violence. We are at the doorstep of the next decade. We cannot strive for more of the same. New challenges call for new understandings, more responsibility and accountability.
Issuing a press release, the Bar Association of Sri Lanka said it had been reliably informed that the Ministry of Finance was in the process of making arrangements to sign the Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact today. However, the government rejected such claims and said that the MCC was not signed today.
The press release issued by the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, President's Council Kalengarinda Tissa, urged the President and the government to refrain from signing the MCC. It further urged the President to immediately inform the MCC and the US government that even if the agreement is signed, it would be rescinded with immediate effect if the signing is done without playing the agreement before Parliament. Convening a media briefing today, MP Bandula Gunawardena made the following request from the President.
This is an agreement that should not be signed and should be subject to a debate in Parliament. The President says as this draft should be first presented in Parliament and subsequently be approved after including the amendments. He does not agree with the inclusion of the MCC as a prior condition to the Draft Act. See how critical is this matter? The President says he is against such matters that take place without proper transparency.
Meanwhile, Venerable Ududumbara Kashyapatera launched a fast on to death protest against the proposed Millennium Challenge Cooperation Agreement at the Independence Square in Colombo.
නෑ අපේ කිසිම MCC කිව්සුමත් සංකරණ බලාපොරොත්තුවක් අද දවසේ නැහැ.
No, we have no plans to sign the MCC today. This is a democratic country. The MCC document has been made open to the public. There is nothing to hide. In 2007, the AXA agreement was signed by 2 US citizens without informing the parliament or the cabinet. Gotabaya Rajapaksa then served as the US ambassador. But our government will not do anything like that. The MCC agreement is now open to the public. We will then present it to the parliament. Anyone can file a case against it.
දෙපක්ෂ සහ ඒ අවස්ථාවේ ඇමරිකානු තානාපතිතුමා අපි එහෙම කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපි මේක දැනට ජනතාවට පත් කළා.
If Gotabaya Rajapaksa is elected to president, will he abolish the proposed MCC agreement? Now, this was discussed in several places today.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa මහත්මයා ජනාධිපති මොහොතින් මිලියන් චැලෙන්ජ් ගිවිසුම ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න නැහැ කියලා හාමුදුරන්ට පොරොන්දුවක් දීලා තියෙනවා.
එතුමා පැහැදිලිව කියලා තියෙනවා මෙතෙක් අත්සන් කළ ගිවිසුම් හෝ අත්සන් කිරීමට සූදානම් කර ගිවිසුම් රටට අහිතකර ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නේ රටට හිතකර විදියට විදේශ සමග ගිවිසුම් ගත වෙනවා කියන බව පැහැදිලිව ප්‍රකාශ කරලා තියෙනවා.
රටට හිතකර බව පෙන්වලා තමයි ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ.
ඉතින් ඒ වගේ ගිවිසුම් වලට අපි අහුවෙන්නේ නැතුව අපි දැනගන්න ඕන රටට හිතකර විදියට ඒවා ක්‍රියාත්මක නැත්නම් අහෝසි කරන්න. එතුමා කියලා තියෙනවා පැහැදිලිව රටට හිතකර නොවන ගිවිසුම් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා.
කියලා තියෙනවා අයරෝ කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒ දෙපැත්තම තියෙනවා කියන්නේ.
ඔව් අපි නිතරම මේ බලපෑම් කරනවා. ඉදිරියටත් ඒක කරනවා.
ඒ බලපෑම් කරාට වැඩක් වෙයිද?
වැඩක් වෙනවා. වැඩක් කරගන්න.
1995 දී
This is the SOFA agreement, the first agreement that betrayed the sovereignty of our nation. When it was signed by Chandrika Bandaranaike in 1995, at that point Mahinda Rajapaksa served as a cabinet minister. Even after Mahinda Rajapaksa was elected as the president, this agreement was not abolished. This agreement, which was signed in 1995, gives power to the US military to enter Sri Lanka without any passport or visa and bring any equipment or vehicle into the country. This agreement is still in effect. Gotabaya Rajapaksa was the defense secretary for 10 years. Why did he fail to abolish this agreement? This is AXA, the other agreement that was signed by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Sri Lanka was the first in South Asia to sign such an agreement. This agreement was signed by Gotabaya Rajapaksa while Mahinda Rajapaksa served as the president of this country. Gotabaya Rajapaksa was a US citizen then. This agreement was signed without informing the cabinet. So where exactly has the Rajapaksa spoken against this agreement?
මේ ගිවිසුමට එතකොට රාජපක්ෂලා කොහෙද විරුද්ධව කතා කරලා තිබෙන්නේ?
වත්මන් යහපාලන රජයේ
The present government led by the Prime Minister is prepared to sign the MCC. What are the reasons to sign this agreement? Why are they rushing to sign it? After signing this agreement, all information regarding Gotabaya Rajapaksa can be obtained.
ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂගේ සියලු තොරතුරු ගන්න පුළුවන්.
මම ආරාධනා කරනවා ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාට කියන්න කියලා වේදිකාවේ MCC ගිවිසුම ඒගොල්ලෝන් ආවත්වත්. ඒගොල්ලෝ හදිස්සිය ආවොත් එහෙම මේ රටේ යම්කිසි අවස්ථාවකට ඒගොල්ලන් අස්සම් කරන්නෙත් නැහැ කියලා ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා ප්‍රසිද්ධ වේදිකාවේ කියන්නේ.
Up next is our special segment leading up to the presidential polls, The Big Fight.
Ajit Niwad Kabral.
මූලික ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි ඒ අතේ සල්ලි නැතිවීම.
The basic question is not having money in your possession. How did this government do it? They first imposed taxes, increased the excise duty, increased the VAT, increased the import tax. Import duties were increased. Everything was increased. Next, they increased the interest ratio. They committed the bond scam, and from that, the whole interest ratio was increased. It wasn't only the government who suffered the loss. The same loss was suffered by the person who tried to lease his bike. The youth tried to build his own home, suffered the same loss. So all these people have to pay more tax. If you talk to 100 businessmen, 75 of them will tell you that their name is in the crib and they are unable to obtain a loan and they are helpless. We will reconstruct these with immediate effect. We will create a fund. We can't let the people suffer due to the wrong policies that have been implemented by the government.
වැරදි ප්‍රතිපත්ති නිසා අපේ රටේ ජනතාවට දුක් විඳින්න කියන්න බෑ.
Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca.
එහෙන් දූෂිතයි කියනවා. මෙන් ආර්ථිකය කඩන් වටලා කියන.
From one end they say that we are corrupt, and on the other end they say that the economy is collapsing. They wake up in the morning with yawning the words bond scam. It has been 4.5 years and they still cry the same thing. When they go to sleep at night, they snore the word saying bond scam. Can you remember there was an agreement called hedging from the CPC? The country suffered a loss of 175 billion from this. That agreement was signed by Mahinda Rajapaksa. It was both of them who robbed 175 billion from the hedging agreement for commission. Then more bonds of 7 billion were obtained from Greece. We lost that too. In 2014 alone, Sri Lankan Airlines suffered a loss of 154 billion. The Rajapaksas did the travelling. After committing such petty acts for 5 years, now they come with guns blazing. What is there to talk when they robbed the Tsunami Relief Fund?
A newly constructed indoor sports stadium was declared open at the Mahamaya Girls' School in Kadawatha today. The event was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
Political representatives in the area, zonal educational officers, parents and several others were present at this event. Meanwhile, the Henagama Central College in the Kalaniya Educational Zone was graded as a national school by President Maithripala Sirisena.
Good evening. Now, the presidential elections 2019 are pretty close at hand. Approximately 11 more days to go, and it would be fair to say that it is fairly critical times. Much of the country is expecting to be kept informed, and obviously the media has a rather important role to play. And there are 35 presidential candidates this time around, and obviously the media have a very valuable role to play. And this is what the Venerable Bhattara Mulla Sila Ratanathera had to say.
The Sirasa Media Network has called on all presidential candidates and given them an equal opportunity. Why can't the other media organizations do that? Don't they have a backbone? Why can't they give the other presidential candidates a chance? Protect media ethics.
මාධ්‍ය සදාචාරය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න. And in the backdrop of this critical times, and in the backdrop of a lot of hard work being done by Team Newsfirst to ensure balanced coverage of the election from right across the island, from north to south, from east to west, in the central and everywhere else too. In that backdrop, it was amazing, if to say the least, that we received a letter of demand last Friday from a lawyer named Anuradha Veeragoda, who purports to represent candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa. And this is what, in his letter actually, he gives Newsfirst a lecture on election laws, and also urges us not to air any item that may perhaps portray candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa in poor light. Now, lawyer Anuradha Veeragoda refers to a case, and he says that this case was filed in a country called America Exat Rajadhania. Now, which I really don't know where this country is, and it'd be interesting to see whether someone, especially lawyer Veeragoda, can educate us as to exactly where this is. In any event, lawyer Veeragoda refers to a court case filed by the late journalist Lasantha Wickrematunga's daughter Ahimsa Wickrematunga. And we received this letter last Friday, and by Monday we had already dispatched our response. Is what we had to say.
On Monday, we responded to the letter of demand sent to us last Friday by Anuradha Senrath Veeragoda, who is an attorney at law supposedly representing presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa. In response, the MTV Channel Private Limited categorically denied and refuted these allegations. The lawyer in his letter was referring to a case against Gotabaya Rajapaksa in a court in the America Exat Rajadhania District Court, Central District of California. Through our letter, we informed the learned lawyer that if he is able to locate any such country to inform in which particular continent in the world said America Exat Rajadhania belongs, as we are anxious to update our files and records with any news bulletin that they may have to broadcast with regard to this newly identified country. The lawyer representing Gotabaya Rajapaksa has sent us a copy of the court decision. The reply letter states, you have now annexed what purports to be a copy of said order of District Court, Central District of California. It is a basic tenet and principle that all copies of judgments, especially of courts, should be certified copies and that the said document is an uncertified one. The letter further states that an airtime of 8 minutes had been allocated for the launch of the manifesto of Gotabaya Rajapaksa on news bulletins on the day mentioned in the letter sent to us by Mr. Veragoda. Our reply also points out that on the same day, the launch of the manifesto of Gotabaya Rajapaksa was broadcast live in the morning. The letter reminds Mr. Veragoda that when Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa presented his manifesto and other material, utterances by persons supporting Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa were broadcast on our network. The letter states that there may well have been claims made or allegations preferred that were not accurate. But however, such claims as well as allegations are also considered equally, and the channel has neither endorsed nor subscribed nor aligned itself with the same. The letter reiterated that our network provides a fair opportunity and forum for both ends of the political divide to present their views and contentions so that the public can have access to a vast variety of spectrum of views, being an intelligent and literate constituency to decide upon whether to accord credence to the same or not. The letter further reminds of the threats that our network have faced in the past in a concentrated bid to bind and gag it in order to serve the political machination of various persons in the past, but over a period of several decades succeeded in building a news band of great value to the Sri Lankan public through its fearless news reporting, and it has been the torchbearer fostering the uplifting and upholding the rights of the people by and through focusing on national issues as well as highlighting issues which require urgent attention and remedial action, especially in the protection of rights. The letter points out that whenever we were subject to political threat, we have repeatedly sought recourse with the law and invoked the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court in several instances and obtained relief against ill-advised politicians who have thought it fit to threaten media institutions and to subjugate the rights of the people by and through the suffocation of the media. The letter reads that we are firmly resolved to most steadfastly stand resolute in the face of all attempts to threaten our network or undermine it or frustrate its commitments towards media freedom. The letter says that we have great respect and regard for Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa and for the work he has done in the past, and co-opting Mr. Veragoda to grossly misconceived letters of this nature does him more disservice than good. It adds that we are, quote, shocked and dismayed that you have thought it fit to write this rather dubious letter to my client in what is nothing less than a blatant attempt to intimidate, threaten, bind and gag a prominent media institution, unquote. We point in the letter that we neither have the inclination nor the imperative nor the motive to cause any form of prejudice to either Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa or to any other presidential candidate.
Now then, Team News First has gone to extraordinary lengths to ensure that the reporting on the presidential election is not only going into all the details, covering all the angles, covering all the candidates as far as possible, covering all the issues that are being faced by the people and reporting on those matters right across the island. We've gone to extraordinary lengths, not only financially but also in the use of human capital. Hundreds of my colleagues have traveled up, down and sideways around this country, spending long hours and doing a job of their choosing to serve the voice of the people. And it's saddening to say that all the thanks that we appear to have got from a particular candidate whose lawyer purports to represent him is a letter of demand. It obviously saddens us, saddens all of us here at News First, because we know, and the majority of the people of Sri Lanka know what lengths our team has gone to report far and wide, to report a balanced view. As I said earlier, the Elections Commissioner, Mr. Mahinda Deshapriya, has acknowledged that. And Mr. Deshapriya, of course, is the chairman of the Elections Commission, and he's said that. Whilst we are sad, we'd also like to say, we report, you decide.
දැන් සිරස ආයතනයට ලියුමක් එවලා තියනවලු ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa has sent a letter of demand to Sirasa claiming Sirasa does not give airtime to his news and that they act biased, violating election laws, and that the US government has said that he has lied. Gotabaya Rajapaksa has already started to threaten everyone. Sirasa was even burnt down once. They bombed the place. But was he ever punished? Right now, he only sends letters of demand. But if he is elected as the president, do you think he will send letters? No, he will send bombs instead.
නාය ලියුම් ගගා ඉන්නේ. ඉස්සර ගැහුවා වගේ බෝම්බ ගල් ගෙඩි වලින් තමයි දීලා අරින්නේ ආයේ.
Gotabaya Mahathir. Media institutions that support Gotabaya Rajapaksa are not clean media institutions. They are institutions that came forward to whitewash their black market racketeering. Such media institutions only support Gotabaya Rajapaksa to whitewash their black market racketeering. For example, certain media institutions support Gotabaya Rajapaksa with the objective of releasing the younger brother from jail. From one hand, we have nothing to worry of such matters, but this affects national issues. Some businessmen are not doing well. Some have issues with the stock exchange. I believe the people of this country will take the right decision, similar to what happened in 2015. I believe on the 16th of November, the general public will take the right decision and not pay attention to media institutions that whitewash black market racketeering.
උත්තර දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒවට අහුම්කම් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මහජනයා නිසි තීන්දුව ගන්න බවට දැන්ට පෙරමග ලකුණු පහළ වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Up next is the World News Roundup.
The US has begun the process of withdrawing from the Paris Agreement, notifying the UN of its intention to leave, as other countries expressed regret and disappointment at the move. The notification begins a one-year process of exiting the Global Climate Change Accord, culminating the day after the 2020 US election. The agreement brought together 188 nations to combat climate change. France and Japan have led international condemnation of the move. It committed the US and 187 other countries to keeping rising global temperatures below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and attempted to limit them even more to a 1.5 degrees Celsius rise. The decision to withdraw taken by President Donald Trump made the US the world's sole non-signatory and prompted high-level efforts by the European Union to keep the agreement on track. A senior Turkish official said Turkey has captured the sister of slain Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi in the northern Syrian town of Azaz and is interrogating her and her husband and daughter-in-law, who were also detained. Azmia Abad, aged 65, was detained in a raid near Azaz, the official said, referring to a Turkish-controlled Syrian town near the border. When captured, she was also accompanied by 5 children. The official said, "We hope to gather a trove of intelligence from Baghdadi's sister on the inner workings of ISIS," unquote. The group, also known as ISIS, have a successor to Baghdadi identified as Abu Ibrahim al-Hashemi al-Qureshi had been appointed. A senior US official last week said Washington was looking at the new leader to determine where he came from. At least 5 US citizens, a mother and 4 children have been killed in a violent attack by suspected drug cartel gunmen in northern Mexico. The victims were said to be members of the LeBaron family linked to a breakaway Mormon community which settled in Mexico decades ago. Local media say the attack could have been a case of mistaken identity. LeBaron family members were quoted as saying a large group of 3 mothers and 14 children had set off in a convoy of cars from Bivespe to Sonora State and were headed to La Mora in the neighboring state of Chihuahua. Some are believed to have dual US-Mexican citizenship. Turkish journalist Ahmet Altan was released from prison after a Turkish court in a retrial ordered his release along with another journalist, Nazli Lisak, due to their time already served in jail. Altan and Lisak have been convicted of aiding the network of US-based Muslim cleric Fatullah Gulen, accused by Ankara of orchestrating a coup attempt in 2016. They had denied the charges against them.
Well, on that note, we wrap this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. More news follows on our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. For the News team, I'm Joel Outschool.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Take care and good night.
Good night.